And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the podcast, the real dark side of. And thank you. There's a little hitch there in my Stream Deck bell. That's a little bit weird. Podcast, your home for rational crypto news and objectivity, leaving emotion at the door, talking about what we like, why we like it, where we see it going. We are not offering financial advice. We are not offering legal advice. We are telling you what we do, and that is all. We don't slow down. We don't let up. Full speed is our only speed. I'm your host, Scott, pragmatic investor who's won and lost fortunes. Joining me, as always, is the greatest producer of all time, the one, the only, the redheaded Belle. How are you doing tonight, Belle?
You know what? It's been a busy day today, Scott. How about yourself?
Well, every day's a busy day, man. We're building apps. We're changing worlds. We're challenging. Well, I don't want to say that. I'm going to say it. We're going to be challenging the local
the technological norms. Let's put it that way.
We're going to be challenging the technological norms. And it's going to be, you know what? For those of you who were in here with us early, you're going to see that this thing is a hell of a ride. Going to be a hell of a ride. And I can't wait to see what the conclusion is. I got a hunch it's going to be this right here. That'll be the conclusion. But we're going to find out. And I apologize. I wanted to dress up tonight because because of the content that we're doing. But all of these vests, and I have like 4 of these. These are all bespoke. They're from Mr. B's. If you want to try to find a vest, go out shopping now and try to find something decent off the rack. You're not going to. But these were about 35 pounds ago. That these things still fit me. And now I got the little strap in back closed as tight as I can, and it still looks like a breastplate. It looks more like a breastplate than a vest. So I apologize for my sloppy appearance. I promise you, this thing fit. And if you would have caught us last year, you would have seen that it fit very, very well. But yeah, now it's I hate it. I hate it, Belle. I hate every single thing about this now. And I love these vests. I love the color. I love everything about this. And now I'm a little bit disappointed, and I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. I'm a little bit disappointed in all of this. All right. So why are we doing what we're doing? We're going to take a few little bullet points here, and we're going to talk them up a little bit, and we're going to get into why we're doing what we're doing and why this may or may not be advantageous to you. And please keep in mind that this is number 1 of 4. We're building out an entire privacy suite and doing it in such a way that hopefully we stay under the radar. Hopefully we just get bought out. That would be ideal. We just, okay, you did it, and now we're going to take a big old fat nest egg and move on to something new. So right now, over in the European Union is kind of leading the charge on surveillance. And let's just call it what it is. They're surveilling, which is a little bit ironic to me, considering what they're doing at their borders. And this is not just a Germany thing or an Italy thing. This is like the entire EU thing. The only people who really seem to be toeing the line over there strong is Poland. Poland, of all places, they're the ones that are like locking that iron dome over their entire country and saying, nope. No, you can't. If you're going to come in, you got to follow the process. But yeah, everybody else is kind of running loose over there, and it really, really gets me thinking back towards Clara Piven and saying maybe that this is just the whole way of doing it. Now, governments will always say that it is to provide security, and it may work that way as far as a talking point goes. It's for the security of everybody. But what it really is, and let's just call it what it is so that they can root out dissent. That's all that really, really concerns them right now. If these countries were well managed, if they were following their own code of laws, their own code of ethics, then they wouldn't be having the problems that they're having right now. But it's clear that they're not. It's clear that they really don't care. It's clear that the Mordor on the Potomac that exists here in the United States, they have their own version of it. They have their own version of it in every one of these European Union countries. And they're fine as long as it doesn't hit them. But the thing that they're concerned about, and this is typical, and it doesn't surprise me so much that it's France that's kind of leading the charge on this, is that they're more concerned about losing their positions of power. than they are of actually protecting their country, protecting their own sovereignty, protecting their own populace. These things are being done to root out the dissenters. Because the one thing that you got to Guy Fawkes this thing, all right? You have got to find the head and you've got to chop off the head. That's the way that these governments are looking at it. Now, look, I'm not an anarchist, all right? I am a libertarian, but I'm by no means an anarchist. We need government, small, local, limited government. And we need a federal government that sticks to its enumerated powers. So when I see France doing what they're doing right now, and it's AI is going to be the thing that changes everything. It's neat. We can make funny pictures. We can take a picture and animate it. We can do memes. We can do all of that stuff. But what AI is based on the application of AI, what it's doing and what these governments are doing with it is terrifying, absolutely terrifying. That sure, we know that there's surveillance cameras everywhere. I know the UK knows this, but we're just accustomed to them, that there's going to be cameras everywhere, and you could pretty well assume that you're going to be on film at any given time. But you sprinkle a little dose of AI in there with the government databases that we know that they have. And these guys are basically track you from the moment you leave your door to the moment you get home. That's what they can do. And they don't even need a Johnny-come-lately sitting there scrubbing through video. AI will do it for them. It will track you, find you, see every single part of you, what you're doing. Most importantly, who are you talking to and what were you talking about? That's what they care about. So I don't think it's a stretch to say, because we know it's happening over there in the European Union, and we know it's happening over in the European Union. For God's sakes, they're policing social media, what is supposed to be the bastion of freedom, but they're actually policing social media, that it's not really a stretch before you just have to work under the assumption that you are always watched, always monitored, and it's not just your movements. It's also your data. In America, right here, right now, we are aggressively legislating, discussing backdoors into encrypted systems. Now, this is the most terrifying thing, in my opinion, that a government can do. I understand that I give my data to Apple. I understand that I give my data to Facebook, that I give my data to X, that I give my data to effectively anybody that's touching my cell phone. I've looked through the terms of service. We've highlighted the parts where it says, yes, we'll host it for you, but you're also giving us authority and very, very broad reach to apply this data to whatever we want to do. But these are private organizations, and I don't have to deal with these private organizations. I can simply throw the phone away. I could simply get off social media. I can simply get off the internet. Believe it or not, USPS, even though I'm pretty sure that they're probably reading letters up there, Bell, but I'm pretty sure that I can still get a message from point A to point B, and it only costs the price of a stamp. I can still do that. Social media is a convenience. Cloud is a convenience. All of this stuff is a convenience. But we've gotten it ingrained in us so hard that you're just going to have to accept a certain level of vulnerability when you're using any one of these systems. And that's not right. But again, these are private organizations. And I just want to make sure you guys understand that I'm being consistent here. I don't have to deal with Apple. I can get an Android. I don't have to deal with Samsung. I can get a knockoff. Or I can simply not use a cell phone. That's an option that I have. And I understand the argument. Yeah, but you can't really live if you don't have it. You know what? You can. All right? I'm a child of the 80s. Trust me, babe. We got along just fine without them. All right. It's possible that you can't get a hold of somebody for 6 hours and everything's okay. But the thing that separated what we were doing from what everybody else was doing, and what we were doing that the government couldn't see, is encrypted systems. That's always been it. That is the thing that separates us from them, is encryption. Now, the U.S. government, the French government, the German government, these guys have all the money in the world, all of it. And if they want to stand up a whole freight of quantum computers to start cracking encryption, they can do that. And personally, I'd rather them do the work then have them bake legislation in to say if you're going to have a business that has encryption in the U.S., you have to have a back door for the U.S. government, or we will simply not allow you to do business here. I don't even have to say that that's not right. And here's how they're doing it. This is the amazing thing. The Interstate Commerce Clause. Now, this is something that went way, way, way back, and it was never really specifically written out what this is to be applied for. It used to be for trade, to regulate trade between the states. But the Interstate Commerce Clause here in the United States has been so bastardized that anything that could potentially leave the state now falls under the Interstate Commerce Clause. Hence, it falls under federal jurisdiction. They're applying this to the internet, because if I'm using the internet in Iowa, it's conceivable that I could be dealing with somebody in California or Maine or Florida. Therefore, our data is crossing state boundaries, therefore, Interstate Commerce Clause. And using that overreaching authority, bastardized to hell and gone, they could conceivably do something like this. Now, this is not Alex Jones stuff. This is happening. I want you guys to remember way, way, way back. It was a long time ago. It was the San Bernardino. You remember the San Bernardino shooting, Bell? It was a big deal. There were a whole bunch of people.
I do remember, yeah.
Yeah, and they recovered some cell phones, and all the cell phones were Apple. And they couldn't open the cell phones because of the encryption and because of the way Apple designed their system. The government couldn't get in there to check messages and to find out who else they were dealing with. So they went to Apple. And they said, we need you to unlock this phone for us. And Apple refused. And then they went harder, and Apple refused again. And then they went real hard. And then Apple capitulated, and they said, sure, we're going to do it this one time. But I want you to think about what happened on that one time. They just exposed to the entire world that they can open any phone at any time. They have the authority. It's not a single key. It's the key you have and the master key that they control. This is what they're going to want in every single multimedia device. Anything that connects to the internet, anything that connects to the cloud, anything that connects person to person, they're going to want to be able to get in there and take a look at it. I believe that this is going to pass eventually. It's not going to happen right now, but Trump ain't going to be in office much longer. All right, he's going to finish his term, and then that's it. There is no more Trump, and there's no second coming of Trump. That's it. So the groundwork is being well laid for this stuff right now. So why are we building what we're building, and why are we doing what we're doing? Because I am no fan of government. That's really it. I am no fan. As long as they do what they are, the enumerated powers, the things that they are specifically authorized to do, I have no issue with them. None. As long as my state does only what they are authorized to do, I have no issue with it. It's when they start hitting the overreach. So what I would like to know from you guys, and I actually got a little cheat sheet here, I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this. I would love to hear what you see in your locales, what you see where you are. I know we have some international folks that do tune in here, and I'd love to hear firsthand information of what's going on over there. And has anybody else been seeing anything like this? That seems to be one of the the big questions here. I got to get back to my notes, Bell, so give me just a second here. Okay, and I start to see a lot of reflection on this. Now, who remembers TikTok? Who remembers the TikTok ban? Do you remember that, Bell? You remember what a big deal
it
that
hasn't been that long.
Yeah. Do you remember the big TikTok ban? Now, the reason that the TikTok ban happened, and it's not for what you think. China was clearly harvesting all of this data, and people are more than happy to expose everything if it might get them a little bit of internet fame, might give them a little bit of social clout. They're more than happy to post everything. It doesn't matter to them what they said, who they said it to, where they were when they said it. They have no issue giving all of this information up. The reason that the U.S. government came down on them so hard is because China was harvesting all this information and they couldn't. So let's be really real about this, that China had it and the U.S. didn't. We already know what they did with Facebook. I know it was so long ago, it's like it doesn't even matter. But we already know what they did with Facebook. We already know that big tech and the social media were just more than happy to climb into bed with the federal government so that they have an easier path doing business and the federal government gets all of their information. They're more than happy to do it. Now, I'm not here to solve the social media issue. People are going to continue to post. It really doesn't matter. They're going to keep doing it. The only thing that I can do is protect my own information. That's all that I can do. And we're going to continue to do it. But the part where it's going to get interesting, Bell, and where I keep saying, I wonder how this is going to flesh out. I wonder how it's going to flesh out because our system is that close to perfected right now. And what that means is that our system, for all intents and purposes, is uncrackable, unhackable. Nothing is unhackable. Nothing is uncrackable. But the cost that it's going to take you to bust into our system and to decrypt every single file, because as soon as you get in, depending on where you penetrate it, you're either going to have one layer of encryption, two layers of encryption, or three layers of encryption, depending on where you penetrated it. But at no point will you actually see plain text files. It simply doesn't exist. Our costs are through the roof to make this happen, but this is what it takes because I know what we're up against. So anyway, guys, this is going to be this kind of show tonight. So if you're not really into this, and I got a whole bunch of stuff that I really, really need to talk about. And we do have a Sigia update for you. We have all of these things. I'm not scripted. I'm just going completely off the cuff. Just want to make sure that you guys know where we're at. Anyway, Bill, do we have any questions, comments, concerns, or observations? I did put a call to action in there. I bet we don't. Based on your face, we don't have anything.
We've got a few comments. So
Okay,
anyway,
go ahead.
Political. Glad Scott is still sticking to diet. Just be careful if he jumps back into carbs all at once. Yeah, Political, he's not going to.
No, I'm going to be gentle about that. I appreciate that, Jeff. I'm doing all right, bro. I appreciate that. Go ahead, carry on, Bell.
All right, Deep House Nation. Software was used by a so-called ally to remove their assassins from surveillance footage. It's Ocean's 11 and Mission Impossible rolled into one. It's scary.
Yeah, when you start, now that we're really starting to really explore the capability of AI, what's real, what's not real. Honestly, I think the next big bubble is going to be anti-AI detection. That's going to be the next big bubble. Right now, we're applying artificial intelligence to effectively everything. The IRS is using this stuff, man. They're going to find out everything about everything. It's not going to take them long to do it. Surveillance cameras are picking up everything, man. We could literally track you from your door back into your door. And if you had any cameras in your house anywhere doing anything, private security, oh, don't worry, they're not up there. If they're touching the cloud, they're vulnerable and they're exposed. All of this stuff. So not only that, but they're going to be able to tool you through your own cameras. But with the with the advancement in AI and what it's doing and the fact that it learns exponentially from itself constantly, I see absolutely no limit. I see no limit or no way to actually change up the police state. I just don't see it happening. And that's kind of funny because when a government is doing what they're supposed to be doing, they have have fear of the people. They're afraid of the people. As they should be. There's 330 million people here in the United States, and there's about 1,000 sitting up there in Mordor on the Potomac. But for some reason, they have absolutely no fear of us. None. And if I was one of those people that was sitting up there right now, I'd be shitting nickels every single minute of every single day because there are an awful lot of us out here, and people are starting to get upset. But when you can big brother the entire system against everybody and simply weed out the dissenters, and you come down real hard on them, you kind of make them vanish, make them disappear, just make them have a very hard life and change their mind. I understand this sounds very Orwellian. I get it. But this is where we're at right now, guys. This is not, hyperbole on my part. This is fact. This is what's happening. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where it is in a couple years from now. What you have to accept all the way deep down is that you are not really a person anymore. You're simply a product. Your number, whatever you were assigned, your social security number, which the entire world has, because these databases have been breached over and over and over. If you're in the military, Bupers has been hacked. That's like a once a year thing that it gets hacked and all of the information gets out every single time. Because apparently, with all the smarts and everything that we have no ability to actually secure a database. Like it's that fucking hard, because it isn't. But when you don't care and it really doesn't hurt you personally, then sure, you can play really, really fast and loose with your security. And look, government doesn't get anything first. All right, they don't invent anything, with the exception of bombs. We know how to blow shit up. There's nobody better than the U.S. government at blowing shit up. But of actually staying current, keeping tech current and all that other stuff, no, they're so 20 years out of date already. So
Well,
yeah, there you go.
okay. So the military in particular, they did build, an encryption method that works really, really well. The problem is they weren't allowed to apply it across all of their systems.
No, and
I
that'll
mean, come
that'll
on.
never happen, because each one of these systems represents somebody's bread and butter. This is somebody who's talking to somebody who knows somebody who's paying off somebody else to make sure that your system stays up. Who remembers Jabber? Anybody? Don't raise your hand, Bell, because you never. I don't even know. Did you
Hey,
use it? Have you ever used Jabber? Jeff, you remember Jabber? You remember that? Remember that dated hunk of shit that we still have, that still operates out there? And no, this is not classified information. Everybody knows it because it was kind of open source software. So yeah, we're so remarkably out of date on everything that it kind of shocks me. But when you have the money, basically anything can happen. And do you think that money's being paid to secure their own systems, or is it being paid to surveil you? Again, this is not Alex Jones shit. This is happening. This is happening right now. All right, Bell, one more and I'm going to play a song.
Sigia Cloud Labs, there are cameras on every corner now,
Yep.
traffic lights,
Yep.
schools, even parks.
Yep.
And most people don't even question it anymore. Feels like constant passive surveillance is just becoming normal.
And it's been that way for a while, bro. All right, that's not new.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
at least 15 years.
it's just now we've gotten to the point where we have the tech to be able to analyze each and every single frame, and you don't need a human to do it. You have artificial intelligence that can do it, and it can literally find you, Siggy fan. It can literally find you the moment you leave your front door to the moment you come back in. We could track every single thing that you did. We always write it up as security. It's for security. But when you give up your privacy to gain security, guess what? You lose both. You have effectively no security and you have no privacy whatsoever. So I know that was a Benjamin Franklin thing, and I know I bastardized it, but it's just kind of funny how he was right so many years ago. I mean, well before there was any such thing as camera or encryption or a computer. It's amazing how right he was. It's just kind of the way it goes. All right, if we got one more, go one more, Bell. Why? And do it big scream while I cue up the next song. What was the song I had to play?
It's on your Discord, but that was Lumberjack.
Lumberjack. All right, let me find it.
Yes.
All right, go.
The Lumberjack by Jackal.
Lumberjack by. Oh, I got the Monty Python.
Yeah, but it's by Jackal.
I'm looking. Okay, go.
All right, so Siggy fan, Scott is apologizing about his looks, but he's looking pretty sharp. Never apologize for losing weight. Lose it and buy clothes from the secondhand store if necessary. It looks good and is good for you.
And you know what, dude? I appreciate it. I had to go up and cue that song because you gave us $2 for it last time. By the way, we're me and Bell are pretty well dead broke, but we'll play anything you want for $2. So if you want a special song, we'll call it out for you. We'll send it like a greeting card. And hey, this one's going out for Siggy fan. We're more than happy to do that. We're not that broke, bro. I just want to try to keep people involved. Anyway. you guys discuss it amongst yourselves. I got a lot more to get to. We have a Sigia cloud update. Bell's going to give that thing to you here right after the break. But if you could, please stick around here on the podcast on the KPOD network, guys, and we will be right back.
Hey, boys, it's the men here to...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats, kids, welcome back to the podcast. That's actually funny. I've heard that song. I've heard that. I don't know why, man, but I thought forever and ever, because I never like stayed for the accreditation. I thought forever that was like really early AC/DC, because the guy sounds so much like Bon Scott. I honestly thought that's what it was. So yeah, I apologize, man. I do like that. That's actually a good song. All right, gonna go off the rails here a little bit. We were pushing like almost 50 people last stream when we were talking about Jackal, but as soon as we start talking about rights, sovereignty, all that other stuff, people just disappear. So I'm much more relaxed because we're not talking to that many people. So if I could go rogue here a little bit, I'm going to go rogue here just a little bit, Bell, and I'm going to go big screen when I'm going to take the whole screen when I do it. So one of my all-time favorite, most influential writings that I've ever read was by a guy named Friedrich Bastiat. And he was actually he was from France, and he was a businessman, but he ended up going into parliament. But this was after the French Revolution, so their economy's in a shambles, everything's a mess. What do we do? What do we do? And it's just kind of funny that the thing that I'm most influenced by is a guy who was sitting in the seat of power after the revolution. So I thought it was kind of funny, but he had the right of it on so many different things. I've read this before and I've read it here on the show, but I think that it's very, very applicable to what we're talking about right now during the show. And if you guys will give me a little bit of latitude, Bell, I'm going to go ahead and read it. What is law? All right. Now, he put this out as a big, big, big series of pamphlets. And the whole thing combined takes you maybe 30 minutes to get through from start to finish. It literally changed my life. And unfortunately, I read it when I was very, very young. So I didn't get the chance to go through my communist phase or to go through my socialism is great phase. I didn't get to do any of that stuff. I saw the writing on the wall, so I had to take the hard path. All right, so this is a little piece of it. What is law? Law is the collective organization of the individual right to lawful defense. Each of us has a natural right from God to defend his person, his liberty, and his property. These are the three basic requirements of life, and the preservation of any one of them is completely dependent upon the preservation of the other two. For what are our faculties but the extension of our individuality? And what is property but an extension of our faculties? If every person has the right to defend, even by force, his person, his liberty, and his property, then it follows that a group of men have the right to organize and support a common force to protect these rights constantly. Thus, the principle of collective right, its reason for existing, its lawfulness, is based on individual right. And the common force that protects this collective right cannot logically have any other purpose or any other mission than that for which it acts as a substitute. Thus, since an individual cannot lawfully use force against the person, liberty, or property of another individual, then the common force, for the same reason, cannot lawfully be used to destroy the person, liberty, or property of individuals or groups. Such a perversion of force would be, in both cases, contrary to our premise. Force has been given to us to defend our own individual rights. Who will dare to say that force has been given to us to destroy the equal rights of our brothers? Now, since no individual acting separately can lawfully use force to destroy the rights of others, does it not logically follow that the same principle also applies to the common force that is nothing more than the organized combination of the individual forces. If this is true, then nothing can be more evident than this. The law is the organization of the natural right of lawful defense. It is the substitution of a common force for individual forces. And this common force is to do only what the individual forces have a natural and lawful right to do, to protect persons, liberties, and properties, to maintain the right of each, and to cause justice to reign over all of us. Now, if a nation were founded on this basis, it seems to me that order would prevail among the people in thought as well as in deed. It seems to me that such a nation would have the most simple, easy to accept, economical, limited, non-oppressive, just, and enduring government imaginable, whatever its political form might be. Under such an administration, everyone would understand that he possessed all the privileges as well as all the responsibilities of his existence. No one would have any argument with government, provided that his person was respected, his labor was free, and the fruits of his labor were protected against all unjust attack. When successful, we would not have to thank the state for our success. And conversely, when unsuccessful, we would no more think of blaming the state for our misfortune than would the farmers blame the state because of hail or frost. The state would be felt only by the invaluable blessings of safety provided by this concept of government. It can be further stated that, thanks to the non-intervention of the state in private affairs, our wants and their satisfactions would develop themselves in a logical manner. We would not see poor families seeking literary instruction before they have bread. We would not see cities populated at the expense of rural districts, nor rural districts at the expense of cities. We would not see the great displacements of capital, labor, and population that are caused by legislative decisions. The sources of our existence are made uncertain and precarious by these state-created displacements. And furthermore, these acts burden the government with increased responsibilities. Now, that's one of the things that I have probably one of the greatest issues with is right there. We've managed to sink ourselves into what's effectively a nanny state. We are, for all intents and purposes, we are a cradle-to-grave society. That means from the moment you're born to the moment that you die, you are simply a number. You're simply a product. And you will be taken care of to the least amount possible whenever necessary, whenever absolutely necessary. That you have this social safety net that so many people just harp on and absolutely adore because people be taken care of. People need to be taken care of because of government, not on behalf of government. These great displacements, and anybody who's ever been to a city, a large city, knows exactly what I'm talking about. These things are, they're effectively chrome and glass prisons. Every single thing in there, everything that makes that city go, everything that keeps that thing functional is given to them by every single thing outside of that city. I could not imagine, and I haven't done the math on this, how many trucks, pallets, how many 58-foot semis are coming in and out of New York every single day just to feed these people, just to keep them going, just to get them there. How much money is spent to make sure that there's enough water, that there's enough power, that there's sewer, that there's all of the stuff that makes life possible. And what do you get inside those cities? Do you feel safe? Do you feel secure? Do you feel well taken care of when you're in there? Like, don't worry, everything's going to be fine because I'm in New York, because I'm in Chicago, because I'm in New Orleans. No, it is absolutely opposite of all of that thing. Because when you have government that does that, when they subsidize cities at the expense of the rural districts, anytime you subsidize something, you get more of it. Not some of the time, all of the time. So when you subsidize sloth, when you subsidize a welfare state, you are going to make it grow. This isn't helping people. This is keeping people down for exactly that reason. And nowhere does the government have the authority to do this. They created that authority. They created it. And then all of these other little pockets spun up. All these other little pocket industries spun up so that the government could come and funnel the money directly through them so that they could do all the outreach on behalf of the government. It can't go on, guys. I'm sure that you realize this by now, but it can't go on. Meanwhile, people become more and more dependent on the government. As they become more and more dependent on the government, their individual rights, their individual privacies become less concerning to them. As long as they know the check is coming, as long as they know the food is coming, as long as they know that they're going to be taken care of, they will give up every God-given sovereign right that they have. And they will do it gladly just to keep it going. Anyway, I know that's off the rails, and we have some other stuff we want to talk about. Just want to make sure you guys know where I'm at.
Well, you know what? It's between the apathy and dependence phase of the Tytler cycle. That's literally where we're at.
I would say we're past apathy. We're in pure dependence. Who knows what the Tytler cycle is? I'll tell you what. Anybody who can give me I know you can, Bell. Who can tell me the first name of the man who created the Tytler cycle without Googling it? This is a gentleman's bet. I want to see who is philosophically aligned with me. Who can tell me the first name? And the first one to put it in there is going to get an Aegis t-shirt. I'm trying to get rid of these things still. All right, Bell, let's clear out whatever other questions or comments. And again, I see that we have like nobody on tonight, so there ain't going to be a whole hell of a lot there. But if there's anybody that has anything concerning, let's go ahead and bring it up so I can carry on to whatever I got next.
All right, Ambido, ETH is ripping.
ETH is ripping, and yeah, man, I'm more than happy about it. It's given Jackal a really, really nice lift. That's good. That obviously I want token to go up. I mean, for us, it's not as concerning. The price of it really doesn't matter to us because we're cash customers for Jackal, and we know what we're paying. All right, we know what we're paying. We're paying $15 per month per terabyte. So our costs are fixed. And we have to pay it in Jackal tokens. But if we're purchasing them seconds before we spend them, the price of Jackal really doesn't matter. But yeah, ETH is doing some business now. There's lots of different ways to look at that. I think it was up about 10% yesterday. Is that correct, Belle? About 10% on ETH.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't be today because it's 24-hour cycle. But yeah, it probably is because Bitcoin is peaking out and sputtering, and degens are going to degen. Everybody's going to be looking for a greater percentage. For Bitcoin to go up 3%, that is a monster number, a new all-time high, a new everything. And I'm sorry, man. Look, economic philosophy starts playing into that, and psychology as well, and people start getting hung up. Nobody wants to buy the all-time high because if you're the person at that very moment who bought that, you paid more for Bitcoin at that very moment than anybody else did. ETH hit about 4,500, so there's room to grow in ETH. Now, people are going to stick to the name brands. They don't trust alt tokens, nor should they. So, yeah, man, I see ETH doing better. Now, is this going to be that mythical alt cycle? Because I know that everybody's talking about that on Twitter. Not the way you know it. Certain things will do okay. But for the most part, the stuff that's down, crushing now is probably going to stay down. Nobody's going to be rushing out to that because for all of the time that we've been over here and all the stuff we've done, we still have not even begun to address application of blockchain tech. We still don't care. All right, XRP's going up. XRP's ripping. Everybody's talking about XRP right now. What fundamentally changed with the exception of the price? Nothing. So as long as degens are still calling the shots, and they are, then yeah, I would expect to see that. Now, I'm fine. I think everybody should buy Ethereum. That's Jackal's biggest pairing is with Ethereum. As Ethereum rips, Jackal's going to come along with it. Impermanent loss is not a myth. It is a reality. So sure, go ahead and give it a carry. But I don't think Jackal's going to have to worry about gaining on impermanent loss anymore. I don't think that's really going to be a big deal because we got a little thing going on here. All right. Anyway, Bell, carry on. I take a drink of water.
Deep House Nation, I'm in the South. I think people are too preoccupied with day-to-day living and news hype to be concerned with loss of liberties and 1984 encroachment.
Yeah, but where in the South are you, bro? That's the funny thing. Humans, by and large, at least Americans, by and large, are incredibly stupid overall. And me too. I'm not ruling myself out of this. I'm not saying, oh, I'm above it all. I'm not one of these penthouse Bolsheviks. We're incredibly stupid because we forget what we saw with our own eyes. All right. We simply don't believe what we saw. If you want to see what is possible, who remembers Hurricane Katrina? Because it seems like that was so far back that we completely forgot about all of it. What happened when Hurricane Katrina hit? What happened when basic services broke down? People, including your governments, including your law enforcement, including your everybody, ran like rabbits, packed up their shit and started heading north. All of them did. All right. To hell with their oath, to hell with their responsibilities. They didn't care, man. They were out and gone. That was it. And the first thing that came in there was the National Guard. And the first thing that they started to do was go door to door amongst the people who were still huddled in there and collecting guns. All right. Every single thing wrong that could possibly happen happened right there. And we saw it with our own eyes. But because it happened so long ago and it didn't happen in the last 5 minutes, it's like it didn't happen at all. But it did. It did. And if you don't think that that's capable of happening again at basically any time, just wait for another storm, babe. All they need is an excuse. So sure, people could keep their head in the clouds, keep a bucket over their head, however they want to do. Keep their head in the sand so that they don't realize how precarious all of this shit is. They can certainly do that. But I'm going a different direction. Let's just kind of leave it there. Anyway, Belle, carry on, please.
And Deep House Nation answered the question and said Alabama.
Alabama. He's in Alabama. All right. Well, you were close, bro. You certainly felt a little piece of that from where you are. Yeah, that's all I say, man. That's like my catch-all on everything. Well, government would never do that. Government can't do that. And then I'd say, what about New Orleans? What about Katrina? Well, that was different. There is no different, man. All right, it's binary. You either can do a thing or you cannot do a thing. And they proved right there that they can do a thing. And if they can do it, that's precedent. That means that they can do it again. And they got enough talking heads and enough control of the media and enough control of social media that people will just say, well, okay. Well, it's okay, no. It was necessary. It was an emergency. No emergency should trump your individual rights. None. It doesn't matter what they are. All right, you want to stay there and drown, you stay there and drown, babe. That's completely up to you. Nobody has the right to come in there and take you out, and they certainly don't have the right to take your guns. National emergency be damned. All right, they just don't. Anyway, Belle, please carry on.
Siggy fan, I'm liking the 120 proof barrel strength Frey Ranch better than the other Frey Ranches, but I think the 1845 preemption is considerably better.
Dude, that preemption was tip top. I'm not going to say it's better, man, because I kind of like a little bit more harsh. I like some bite to my bourbon. I like some spice to my bourbon, and Frey Ranch has it. So I'm going to kind of lean over that way. But that preemption was tip top. I would send it to John. You need to text John. Tell him to send us about 6 bottles of that stuff. All right. That could be the whole load next time because it's gone. We don't have any more. Anyway, carry on, Belle.
Political. Scott, have you heard of the band The Cost? Their drummer is legit.
Have I heard of The Cost? I have not. Belle, have you heard of The Cost?
I haven't either.
No, but I'll certainly look into it. Anyway, carry on, Belle.
Fisherman hit us with a $1.99 super chat.
Yay! And he didn't ask for nothing?
No, he didn't ask for a song or anything.
Wow, look at there. All right, carry on, Belle.
I know. Siggy fan, Another very interesting basis for economic theory is the Cantillon effect, written much earlier.
And yeah, bro, I am familiar with that. I don't really, I'm an Adam Smith guy. All right, all the way down, man. I'm 100% an Adam Smith guy, and I do love economic philosophy. I get such a kick out of it because for some reason, we here in the States or worldwide seem to think that we can ignore the laws of economics, which in my opinion are every bit as real as the laws of physics. And we somehow think that we can ignore the laws of economics and ignore the results of ignoring the laws, but that's certainly not true. 36 trillion. What's the national debt right now, Bill? About 36 trillion. Somebody out there knows. Put it in chat. I'll send you a t-shirt. The $36 trillion plus worth of debt that this country has managed to amass since about 1976, something like that, seems to suggest that you cannot ignore the laws of economics, but we continue to try to do it. You can't buy your way out of this. All right, you just can't. The only thing that gets you out of this is producing more than you're spending. That's it. That is literally it. That's the only way to get out of something like this. But it's pretty clear that that's not working. And the fact that inflation, or at least the government reported inflation, is as low as it is a little bit shocking to me because I use a different barometer to find out where inflation is, and I just call it the McDonald's dollar menu. Remember when you used to be able to get a double cheeseburger on the dollar menu, Bell? You remember that?
Yeah.
You got a
yeah.
double cheeseburger meal. You could literally get a meal for $3. The dollar menu now has napkins and straws. You can get napkins and straws and ice for your drink from the dollar menu. That's it, because aside from that, there's no food on there because inflation is out of control. The double cheeseburger is now $3. Have you ever seen a McDonald's cheeseburger? It's about that thick, and it's $3. That is economic reality to me, not the way it's being reported. That's it. That's literally my barometer, is the McDonald's dollar menu, because I don't think there's any more restaurants in the world that exist than McDonald's. And if they're charging $3 for that little hockey puck shit that they sell and call it a double cheese, I can't eat it anymore. But if they're charging $3 for that, tells me all I need to know. And Powell can go fuck himself. Government reporting can go fuck itself. Everybody can just go to hell. I believe my eyes. I'm that kind of guy.
I mean, you used to be able to go to Arby's and buy the 5 for $5 roast beef sandwiches. I mean, I can't tell you between that and the McDonald's dollar menu, how many times that saved my life.
I can't speak of Arby's. I've never been that hungry. I have never, and I fasted
Lucky.
for 6-7 days. I've never been that hungry to go to Arby's because I'm sorry. For those of you who love their little Arby's sauce is good. I don't know what that's made of. It's probably soylent green of some kind. But yeah, I've never been that hungry. Bill, ew. Their potato cake. I can't eat those anymore either. But the potato cakes were good.
A lot of the Arby's locations discontinued the potato cakes.
And that was, of course it did, because that was something that was good that people enjoyed. And Arby's not about that. Arby's is a punishment. All right. Arby's is not a treat. It's a punishment. That's, I don't know where that beef comes from, man, but it doesn't come from cows. Anyway, go ahead, carry on, Bill.
All right, Deep House Nation, hit us with a $1.99 super chat saying I'm in Southern Red State. Lots of uncertainty, in my honest opinion.
Yep, and bro, I don't think you've seen anything yet. Look, the government's being reserved. They're being incredibly reserved with the amount of power and authority and stroke that they have now, with the amount of media coverage that they have now, with the amount of everything that they have now. They're being incredibly reserved. And I want to say that it's probably the Trump effect, that he's the one wild card that they just can't really deal with. They've spent the last 20 years trying to discredit him and tear him apart and felon, and all the other bullshit that goes around with that. But the one thing they can't have happen is let him in front of piss him off that bad and let him in front of a microphone, because he does still have the stroke to kind of blow the whole thing up. He knows what he knows now. I mean, he's privy to a lot of information he wasn't privy to before, and he's at that point of his life where that guy could literally hit fuck it, and if he hit fuck it, man, the world would tremble. So I think we're still kind of okay here in Des Moines just because we don't have a lot of people. Our city is our capital city is not that big.
No, you can drive through it in less than 20 minutes.
Yeah, you're from one side to the other. We do have some high-rise buildings. They're pretty cool. They're mostly empty now because everybody works from home, so they're mostly empty now. But yeah, you can drive across all of Des Moines in 15 minutes, the capital city in 15 minutes. It's not that big, so we're kind of insulated from a lot of this stuff. And we have a really good governor with one hell of a kick-ass state motto, which Belle is going to read you the Iowa state motto here. I know she's got to look it up. I'll give her some time to do that. Yeah, so we're a little bit insulated from all of this just because we don't have the population density of the rest of the world, and this is a must-issue state. So if you're wondering if the person you're talking to is armed, the odds are good. Yeah, I mean most of us are. It's just a very polite state, and it's a polite state because we're all armed here. Belle, did you look it up? What's the motto of the state of Iowa? I'll even make you a big screen for this.
Our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain.
Yeah, that's Iowa. And if say what you want about Kim Reynolds, but she 100% leans into that. We were the very first state to lift COVID restrictions. She basically got up on the camera and said, fuck you, we're going to go ahead and do business. And then, it all snowballed out from there. But, for what it's worth, we were locked down the same as everybody else. Oh, that's right. It's almost like I forget about COVID. Yeah, don't worry. The government's got your best interest at heart. And how long did they lock down basically the entire country? Yeah, go fuck yourself. Anyway, carry on, Belle.
All right, so Sigia Cloud Labs, July 2025, the U.S. national debt is approximately $35.9 trillion. Give the T-shirt to the fifth person that does a wave emoji.
Okay, fifth person to give the wave emotion. Well, but I did say 36 trillion though, Belle, didn't I? I said 36, so I was pretty close. I might keep it. We're just trying to get rid of the old T-shirts, guys. That's really all it is because I have to order a new batch, and they have to be Sigia Cloud T-shirts. I'll work with everybody, and we'll figure it out. And Sofa, I never got. I asked you for that, and you didn't send it, bro. So did you lose it, or I had to go look it up myself? You suck. You suck tonight. I'm kidding, Jason. Hell of an asset to the team. I appreciate that. All right. Anyway, Belle. Go get back to it. We're just about out of time anyway, so go ahead and carry on.
Deep House Nation, any metrics or benchmarks y'all watch to gauge how close the world is to de-dollarizing?
No, not. Well, oil, obviously. Look, man, the entire world. I know we're all about green energy and nuclear and solar and wind and all that other shit, but we're a oil-based world, period. That's it. So the thing that I keep my eye on more than anything else is oil. That's the thing that matters. If oil went away tomorrow, everything you'd see Mad Max here overnight. I mean, that's how quick we would go from a civilized society to little petty, little regional warlords over there controlling everything. We're an oil-based society. Now, nuclear power is, in my opinion, our only reasonable route out of this. It is extremely clean. That's a hill I'm going to die on. Nuclear power for what it is. I don't think people quite understand what a nuclear power plant is. It's a fucking steam engine. All right. That's what it is. Steam engines have existed out here for a very, very long time. All right. It's called a rotor. It's called a stator, and it's called turn the rotor. Rotor turns inside the stator, and direct current is generated. This is, for all intents and purposes, a nuclear reactor. Now, the core rods heat, steam generates, steam goes, hits the turbine, turbines turn, power comes out. The core rods, yes, they used to be one hell of a problem. They're not really a problem anymore. And as long as people are still talking global warming, which shocks me a little bit that it's all about global warming and we got to stop. It's the cleanest power we have. The absolute cleanest power that we have is nuclear power. But Too many people want to have their cake and eat it too. Until we actually lean into that and embrace the fact that it's simply better. All right, that nuclear power is simply more efficient than we're an oil-based economy. And every fucking thing out here has oil in it. My jeans, my vest, my boots, everything has petroleum in it. Everything. So that's what I look at more than anything else. Aside from that, de-dollarizing, I understand where you're going with that. No debt is ever going to be paid. All right. It's simply never, ever going to happen. China is doing the same fucking thing with their own currency that we're doing with our own currency. Keep coming out and say, yeah, but look at the Chinese, the yuan is so strong, or the Korean won, or all the Japanese yen is also. We're all doing the same fucking thing because we all understand that we're never going to pay this debt off. All right. It's just kicking the can down the road to keep this thing going. But when we have that climactic moment, the thing that you're asking about right there, this is going to go global, and it will go global instantly. It's not like it's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks to reach Japan or reach Korea or reach China. It will happen globally. It almost happened in '08. That's how close it was. It almost happened in '08, and the fact that we saw it happen with our own eyes and have forgotten that it ever occurred tells me everything that I need to know. Anyway, carry on, Bell.
All right. And Siggy, a fan, hit us with a $2 super chat requesting Dare to Be Stupid by Weird Al.
We'll open the show with it next time, bro. We're coming to the end of it. Dare to Be Stupid, Bell. Okay. Carry on.
All right. The Better One-on-One. Would you be interested in owning more real estate?
Would I be interested in owning more real estate? I'm a big fan of land, but the land that I'm interested in is very, very specific. All right. It means that it includes things like defensible positions, water, and sunlight. That's what I need. And I need it to be away from people, away from roads, away from everything. That's the kind of land that I'm interested in because I want to be away from it. I want to be away from everything. Yeah, I do believe that eventually all this is going to go nuclear, not nuclear bombs. You know what I mean by nuclear? It's going to hit a critical mass. Enough people hit fuck it. We got nothing left to lose, and shit's going to burn. Yes, I do believe that that's going to happen. It's happened before. It's happened before throughout human history over and over and over. Just because it happened, that hasn't happened here doesn't mean that it won't. It just means it hasn't yet. So yeah, I'm a big fan of real estate. It's the one thing that they're not making any more of. But now that I see what's going on over there in like the California Palisades, I realize that even if you hold the note, you don't really hold the note. All right, you're allowed to occupy the land that you own, and you're allowed to. You're given the. You continue to pay taxes on land property that you absolutely own, so that the state can maintain it for you. And if you get to the point where you're not paying your taxes anymore, then they're going to come in and seize it. This is your own personal property, so. I find it funny that we have to continue to pay property taxes, but once my car is paid off, I don't have to pay taxes on that anymore. Property is property, period. Property is property. But for some reason, if it's a house, you never really own it, you rent it. So I always have to put that consideration in when I'm talking about when I'm getting around real estate in any way, shape, or form, is the fact that you will never, ever own it. So how much burden am I willing to take on myself to have a bug out location like that? That's just my opinion. Anyway, carry on, Bill.
All right. So Political, drop in the comment. Taco Bell is punishment.
Taco Bell is, oh, babe, I haven't had that stuff in so long. Even when I was eating carbs, I would rarely go to Taco Bell. Don't get me wrong, dude. I like Taco Bell. It's basically the same food. Doesn't matter what you order. Give me anything, and it'll all be about the same. That's Taco Bell, and I like that kind of consistency. But I would rather I'd take Taco Bell over Arby's, and believe it or not, I'd take Arby's over Burger King. Burger King is where you go before your colonoscopy. You don't have to drink that silly liquid they give you. Just order a Whopper. All right, and you're going to be pretty well punished and cleaned out. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, carry on, Bill.
Wow, that was actually the last one.
Well, then that is just perfect. Guys, hope you enjoyed. We're probably going to do a movie stream on Saturday. Belle will likely be in studio on this one. And yeah, we're going to probably do a stream. So I hope you guys can join us. It'll be over there on OmniFlix. Yes, I understand that this was a little bit of a different direction. I like it. This is my wheelhouse. This is where I want to be. We'll probably continue. We'll do the crypto streams, and I'll have them well announced forward on the thumbnails. But if it doesn't say we're talking about crypto, I can assure you that we're probably not. We are entering the privacy realm, and I want to make it crystal clear to everybody exactly why we are doing what we are doing, just so that we're all on the same page. So anyway, appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Going to hand it over to Belle. She's going to talk us up, take us out of here. Guys, had a wonderful time. Go ahead and do your thing, Belle.
All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who joined us this evening, we cannot say thank you guys enough. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys and the comments and questions you send our way. Now, we are planning on being back on Saturday on omniflix.tv showing a horror movie. I'm going to withhold the title because I want you guys to be surprised. Then after that, we are going to be back on Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. In between now and then, if you guys have any other comments, questions, or concerns, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to either Scott or myself, Scott at ThePodocasts.com or Bella at ThePodocasts.com, and we'll get those answered for you. Again, we can't thank you enough, guys, and we'll see you next time.